Hey,
Oh, God.
whoa! It's like a reunion.
He's saying, we're back. He said,
Boy,
you got all your red stuff there. You're looking properly set up. I'm impressed. So I'm back. New year. So I've got new impetus to, do different stuff. I'm not going to lie. But as the year shuts out, things weren't really going how I wanted them to go.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
different times, obviously because of COVID.
yeah.
But at the same time, things weren't really going how it needed to go with the boxing. So it was a bit just annoying. The music, like I said to someone else, that's really taking off the boys. They're doing really, really good. I do music management, so they're doing really
I didn't
good.
know that.
Yeah, the black boxes, I manage rappers in it that are doing it up and coming.
Oh,
So they're doing stuff. They're out there doing their things. So I've been literally just working doing that. I got them some deals. So they got movie deals, a few of them. So about 5 of them is going to be in a movie coming up this year, and it's going to be good. So listen, I've just been grafting. Things are going well, but like I said, right now for me, my passion is the boxing, and at the minute, I've had a little bit of forays with some promoters, obviously, because not getting the boys out and stuff. I don't know, maybe I
yeah.
put on the back burner and stuff. So they're not getting back to man and stuff. But it is what it is. I just got to take it with a pinch of salt. Like instead of taking things personal, it
Yeah,
is what it is, because I know a lot of people are going through it, but there's favoritism also in the
yep.
game. That's what was spoken on a little bit prior. But
Mm,
you know what is, listen, we march on. We either you break or you become stronger from certain things and
yeah,
you learn from it. But it's just learning. So for me, once the boxing starts patterning and I
yeah.
can get the boys out, I think the business is literally gonna be on a nice front in attacking all fronts. So it's been, I'm not gonna lie, there's been bad things, but good things, because I've opened a few businesses, and there's some real good stuff actually going on now in this time. But at the same time, when I'm working with my boys and training, for me to keep giving them confidence to, to keep training, to keep
Keep
working,
going.
but then nothing's happening, it's
Yeah,
very hard
yeah,
for them to keep the same faith. So that's the only challenging part in this. But yet again, look, we've got it all to do. I've got a new year,
yeah.
so I've got new impetus and confidence that something's going to give. I know it's trying times still with this COVID bollocks, but yeah,
It is
it's
what
a
it
new
is.
year to fight. It's a new year to fight. So we've opened an online business going very, very well. I'll post it shortly. I don't want to give too much people,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's going really well. That's what I'll say. It's going really well. I'm gonna get my black box tracksuits coming soon, so I'll be sending there. That's gonna be
Don't
good.
chat
That's a
to me
separate.
about the
I
clothing because I'm
know. Do
still
you know what? No,
waiting.
do you know? I apologize. The small sizes. When I said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get it," when I looked, all of them was gone. So
But I've been asking for these since
yeah,
2008.
no. The shipping factors cost me more money. It's
Yeah,
a slower time. The factory's closed down.
yep,
So me getting them, the turnarounds have been very, very slow. Um, so, I mean, look, a hustler will adapt
yep.
to any climate. Like you said, if 2020 and 21 with this thing doesn't make you pull your socks up and say, what can I do to be bulletproof from a
Okay.
pandemic? And online businesses
Mm,
are the way through. Streaming is another way through. So you've got to look at the table and assess.
mm.
It is hit everyone hard. Look, I do various stuff, but like I said, I can't go too much into everything because
Yeah, yeah.
there might be other people looking and say, "Well, on, I this you do as well. Let me."
Mm,
It's a bit difficult, but I mean,
mm.
I've got a lot of stuff going. I'm like a little circus man juggling loads of balls because
Yeah,
it's part of a pie. Every
yeah,
little thing adds up for a
yeah,
pie
yeah.
and a passive income and doing stuff. But I'm just grafting, man. My passion is the boxing. I love boxing.
Yep.
So when we was free and wild and we was out there, things were flying. It was easier to get things done because you could see people face to face.
100 miles
Now
an hour.
everyone's scared, everyone's hiding, and so on. So look, I still have faith anyway, man. I got to keep that angle as much as sometimes it is dark and gloomy and that we can't really move as fluent as we wanted to, but you still have to have some assembly and faith.
Yeah,
Listen, car um, things will happen in time,
yeah, absolutely.
as they say, things happen when they need to happen. So right now, it's a bit like this, but then in a minute, it just changes. I think even for myself, look, a couple of weeks ago, things was a bit slow with certain things, and then I was like, okay, you know, and now they're picking up. So it's just like, it just changes overnight with how things are, you know what I mean?
Patience and timing, same thing as boxing.
Exactly. So I gotta be patient. Look, I done them deals were moving slow. We got them done, and then from them deals, I got a big deal for a big artist. He's not my artist, but it's a big artist. In my lap, there's opportunities arise because of certain things. So it's definitely it's good times. Just got to keep
You're
pushing.
like a conduit. You're like the wire between 2 points.
That's I like to be. I try and be the man that puts things together. You know, I listen. I hear what people are saying, and I kind of keep my ears open and kind of, you know what I mean? And listen, that's what the hustling is. You know what I mean? You got to juggle, you got to move about, and you got to make people. You know, some people don't want to work with some people, so then you could be that link to the goal between to get that done. And this is what's happening in this junction now. Obviously, boxing's back next month. Then Dillian's back the following month. The rematch with Povetkin. So it's good times, you know. And then they're looking at that AJ and Fury fight, which is, you know, big fight for the UK as well. So it's interesting times over the next few months. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But going back to boxing then. Well, going back to Blvckbox Management. This is, you know, this is what this is about. We know who you are. We know that you're connected to the sport, but we don't really know much about Blvckbox Management. So I just want to give you this opportunity to tell the listeners about Blvckbox Management, what they're doing and what their goals are for 2020, 2021, 2022.
So Blvckbox is boxing and music management. Like I said, it's doing pretty good. It's doing pretty good, especially on the music side now. You know, I've got a few boxers there, some that are part coach with other trainers, and then ones that I manage. I've lost a few boys because some people, you know, the game, you know, there's patience and loyalty factors in this game, but that's just what it is, you know what I mean? It's a very hard game and fickle game as well. So you know what I mean? So that's that. But you know, right now, like there's guys I'm talking to, but I'm saying to them, look, until things start to find their way back a little bit more normal, it's harder for me. It's a hard job for me trying to get a look in. I'm not getting the great rubber, the green. I am being offered fights. They're not the fights I'd like to be offered. I'm putting forward the fights I want, and it's not really working out as that. They're coming back with fights that are more beneficial to them. But I'm looking out for my fighters also. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie, the fighters were offered fights throughout the year, but you know, the timing, what they gave us, 10 days, 7 days, really good. They're gonna get us. Yeah, so basically we was offered fights. I think, you know, obviously they say you've got to take opportunities when they arrive. I do feel that my guy would have beat some of the guys who they offered, but obviously, you know, he didn't want to take the chance, especially on 7 days notice and training and other things. And sometimes it's not the greatest deals. But yeah, you know, I just got to, you know, keep faith and working, and hopefully things will pick up, and, you know, we'll be able to kind of work on getting a few boys signed. Because even some of the boys that left, I actually got them deals and got them signed, but because they weren't fighting, they weren't happy. It's quite weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But listen, you can't keep everyone happy. So at the minute, I'm just working on that and working on myself and just doing a lot of stuff and just kind of putting the energy in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So good times. I've got my Blvckbox apparel stuff coming shortly. So just listen, just working, man, just ticking over, man, and just kind of keep evolving, man, because we've got to evolve with what's going on in the times we're in. So at this function, I've got like you know, I've got a lot of stuff going on in the pipeline. I'm just keep going. I'm looking at the promotion side, but obviously because of everything that's going on, that has hindered me so much. Hopefully, end of this month, maybe next month, I might have some meetings to kind of get a bit more clarity and clarification on that. So I'm just here building, man. You know what I mean? Just you know, building the infrastructure chip by chip, brick by brick, and so on. And just waiting for the opportunities to come, man. Because you know, at the end of the day, you know, if you're knocking enough, the door will burst open, or invite will come. So that's one of them. But you know, sometimes you have that moment where you get disillusioned or annoyed with situations. But you know, got to try and keep that little bit of faith that, you know, this is going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's proper advice, and that goes out to anybody that's an entrepreneur or thinking about setting up on their own. some key words in there, talking about patience, talking about disappointment, talking about you still got to keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with. But Blvckbox, how did Blvckbox come about?
You know, it was inevitable in terms of like being about my bro deal with the boxing. I've been like coaching, a little bit management side, advising and helping him in his career got along. So obviously initially we were doing the management together with the rest of the boys. But I'm a person who's quite hands-on, you know. And then in the end, it became the rest of the guys doing stuff and taking lead, and I weren't really being brought in as I feel I should have been. So I said, you know what? I think I might just probably go out on my own. It's going to be a harder road and a longer, lonely road, but I will feel better in myself, you know, as much as if any doors are closed and it takes longer, me just being me, I'm happy not answering to no one and not feeling disrespected by, you know, people where I feel like they should have consulted me on certain things. And I feel like, you know, being my own boss or being my own, even just a man, first and foremost, respect man to man is one thing. And then being a man and where I come from, I don't really take too lightly how, you know, certain disrespect I felt in certain instances. So I just said, you know what? We kind of still have arguments about it now. I never told you to go and do your own thing. It was meant to be us doing that. I said, my bro, I'm not saying that and I'm happy. You know what I mean? As much as there are times I might not be happy with that way things are, I'm still happy because I'm in control. I don't want no one back-chatting me. I don't want no one going around my back and doing things. The game is slippery. And it's not, I'm not really in that, the little snake thing. That's not how I grow and come up. So it is difficult for me when you get people that'll skin teeth and smile with you and then, you know, act a bit funny at different time and stuff. So, yeah, here we go. Sorry. You know, if it don't, listen, at the end of the day, they say, well, I don't even know how that saying goes, that what don't break you will make you anyway kind of thing. So it's just one of them. Look, we're all human and we go through trials and tribulations and it either makes you or breaks you, you know what I mean? For me, I feel like, you know, especially with what's going on COVID, it is, you have moments where you are stressed or depressed and you know, going through things because you feel things should be a certain way, but then quite mad. I don't think, I don't try to fester and mull on stuff like that because every day is an opportunity to build and do something different. But you know, when you look at the world and you think, well, nothing's actually going on, everyone's in the same place, doom and gloom. This is what they want you to feel like. They want you to feel disillusioned. They want you to feel unmotivated. You know what I mean? So, you know, I got to kind of spurge my spirit at times. You know, like sometimes I'll shadow, but I'll get up, I'll do press up. But I mean, being at home and chilling and going through stuff, maybe I started drinking a little bit too much sometimes. You know, like you might eat bad because what else is there? I don't need a six-pack lying in my bed or sitting in my house all day, every day for a whole, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, it's trying, it's testing. But the most important thing with being tested is once you get over the hill and understand that you're being tested and understand, you know, what the trigger points are and what you're going to do. So, I mean, you know, mental health is real. It happens to people a lot. You hear the suicide rates is up and stuff like that, mental health stuff, domestic abuse stuff, alcohol, substance abuse stuff, all those things. But coming back to the table again, I mean, it's just a building block, man. And for me, I've gone out, I've done it on my own. I've incorporated a couple of my guys who have been kind of helpful to a degree and help and push, and they believe in the vision. And that, look, if it doesn't go in terms of the way it's going, like in terms of the big show, I'm trying to do my own show. And my guys, we're going to work together and push it on. And then that way I'll still be able to push my boys out and we'll be able to live out our dream and do what we're doing. Because nothing isn't given to no one. You understand? Especially like, you know, coming from the mud, we all graft and we get it how it's meant to be gotten, you know what I mean? But yeah, like I said, it's been a harder road doing it by myself, but it's cool. I'm my own man, I'm my own boss. I don't, you know what I mean? All my negotiations, if they ain't in favor of my fighters, like I've said, I'm not going to go and put them at harm because that's going to be on me if something happens to them. Me putting them in the ring is dangerous, especially against, if I feel like maybe they're not ready now, they might be needing a few fights, those kind of things. Some managers are happy to just put them in and get their percentage. Try your luck. If you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. I don't want to hear that right now. That's not, you know what I mean? Because these boys go in there and put their life on the line, they could die. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, and it is that simple. So you mentioned your fighters. Who have you got? Who does Blvckbox manage at the moment?
Who's there now? I've got IP Porter is to make his debut. He was meant to make it last year, didn't happen. We're just waiting now. See what's going on. Steve Woodall. Hopefully he'll be out soon. My brain is so bad. I've got Sherelle. What's this? Sherelle Brown. She's 6-0 with 2 knockouts. I think she's got one of them intercontinental titles. She's meant to fight for the European title in February, but I think got in. So she's actually good. She was a very decorated amateur. She's won bit. She won like the ABA's 4 years in a row. She won the Tri-Nations 2-3 times. She won a lot of stuff as well. So she's well decorated. She's at GB for a while, England and all that. But the game is, sometimes you get stifled in the game, and I think, that's where she's at. So,
So and then what weight is Sherelle? Sorry, what weight is she?
Lightweight.
First name.
He's going to be doing bridgerweight or cruiserweight. That new division.
Is that Bridger even out?
Yeah, it's out. Yes, he's going to fight there in between. He's quite decorated amateur as well. I think he won something like 8 national titles or something.
Yeah.
Bare knockout. He's strong. He's strong. Punch. Yeah.
And then you mentioned like the politics that you've had to deal with, where certain fights have been giving you like 7 days notice, 10 days notice, and maybe you don't think your fighters are ready to take those kind of challenges. So as a manager then, how do you deal with that, bringing that back to the fighter? Because some of them would just think like, you know what, I want to fight. I don't care. I'll have the 7 days. I'll have the 10 days. So as a manager then, how do you deal with that? Which could be a possible conflict between you and your fighter.
Yeah, that's happened. That's happened a few times. But then I've brung it to the fighter, and they was questioning it, thinking, well, I'm like a stone overweight. Can I lose a stone in 7 days? So there's been back and forward, and I think probably it ain't going to be good because to try and lose the weight and try and train and be ready to fight. Kind of technical. And then on top of that, with the guys that they were talking about fighting, they've been active throughout the lockdown. So they've had 2-3 fights in lockdown. I had to weigh up what was there. So obviously we didn't get out last year, a few boys, and then now it's the whole new year. And I've been being offered a few different fights, but yeah, again, it's the same cup of tea. But, we're going to get there, man. I have faith, God willing, I have faith that it will turn around and it will go how it's meant to go. Yeah. And, we'll get someone who's going to back us. So for the boys, I just need to find a position for them with one of the 2 big boys. That's my plan. And then go from there. Steve's with Warren already, so he's signed to Warren.
Okay.
And then that's it really. I'm just waiting. Trying to see over the next, because right now it's a bit slow, like I said, because of the national lockdown.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm trying to figure out which direction to go in and see what's happening. That's it really in a nutshell, Carl. Can't reveal too much just yet, but there is some other things in the pipeline. When they go off, I'll let you know, and then you can let these guys.
I appreciate.
We'll let them know together. We'll see. But
yeah, I appreciate that. You mentioned, and this is something that I've always been interested in, because I don't see this side of boxing. You as a manager that's looking at also promoting fighters, talk to me a little bit, and I don't want you to incriminate anyone. It's just about the political side of boxing politics, because us as fans, we're looking at boxers and we're thinking, well, why aren't they fighting? Why doesn't he just fight him? And it's the politics that goes on behind the scenes, behind that curtain, that we don't really see or really understand. We understand like different networks. Oh, you can't fight on that one because you're contracted to this one. But as a manager, what type of boxing politics do you come across, and how do you deal with it?
Well, there's politics in boxing all the time, you know what I mean? But more than likely, the promoters always are trying to look out for their best interest, which is their fighter.
Okay.
And then obviously, if you're across the street, like for example, Matt Truman and Frank Warren, they don't tend to do a lot of business
together.
Maybe MTK, like for example, does business with Matchroom and Warren. There's different ones. Just like in America, you know, there's talk of Gervonta Davis fighting Garcia, but Garcia's on DAZN and Golden Boy, and Gervonta is on PBC Al Heyman. That's well across the street. The likelihood of them two fighting are going to be real slim because both channels are going to want the fight on their channel. And, you know, in the past, it has been done. I think Mike Tyson and Lennox managed to get past, but it's after a long time. Yeah. So the fans should understand there is politics. And a certain time, when you get enough in your thing, you can't just go and fight anyone because it's a business, it's about money.
Yeah.
I think what happens if you go and just fight everyone and anyone that calls you out at a lower level and you're only building, if you lose your pulling power, which is your money and your business. That's your, you know what I mean? Your strategy, how you make your money. So you got to be smart in the game and be sensible. So not everyone is, oh yeah, that guy can fight because he believes he's going to win and that guy believes he's going to win. But then you're in a better position than that guy. So why are you looking down from up there saying, let me come down here and pick this guy and fight? A prime example maybe of something like that for me would be no disrespect to anyone. Hopefully I don't offend anyone. No, not you. I'm talking to people I'm going to mention. I feel like the Yard and Linden fight was similar because for me, I felt like Yard really maybe shouldn't have fought Linden because Yard for me was at world level because he only just lost at world level. Yes. And Linden was at British level because he only won the Commonwealth. So it's like he, you know, maybe there was some talk and he looked down and he said, I'll beat that guy and he ended up losing. So now you'd look at it and say, well, the roles are reversed. Yeah. But do I feel Linden's at world level? I don't think he's at world level because he hasn't fought there. You know what I mean? So, but he beat the guy that was at fringe and world level. So it's kind of tricky. So you can't get drawn out into people when they call you out and get into things because the game is a difficult game. And Yard and Tunde, they're my people. They're good people. Hopefully there's no offense, my friends, but you know the game. I'm just trying to draw comparables. But people, you got to understand the game, man. This is a business first and foremost. You know, people cannot misstep in this game of boxing because you will get caught out. You know what I mean? So you got to take the right fights at the right time. Some guys you're going to look at and say, well, you know, I know him from sparring. I think I can beat him because of this and that. Maybe those fights get made. Don't jump and miss any steps. And don't follow the hype of, you know, oh, yeah, this man should fight that man. And then you go, yeah, and then you go and lose. You know what I'm trying to say? So the aspect of that, the game is what it is. And it's been going on for years. Like I said, look, when you talk about Lennox and Tyson, that was across the street. That was gone. There was that problem with Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather for years across the street again. And it just happened. Politics in boxing, broadcasters in boxing. There's many factors. And then you've got one man who said he's the A side, one man said, oh, I'm the A side. And yet again, that won't make a fight happen. So there's many contributing factors. So we just got to just kind of ride it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're right, because there's like there's a strategy in boxing. And I watched a short clip, a documentary on Mike Tyson and how he had obviously his boxing coach, Mr. D'Amato at the time. But he had two managers who were strategists, who owned like all the video footage for lots of boxers, and they were able to specifically choose fighters that would look good but would ultimately lose to build the profile of Mike Tyson. And this old school strategy, something that I wouldn't have been aware of. You know, as a fan watching it from home, you're just seeing some geezer go in there and knock everyone out. You don't realize the strategy behind it. And that couples with what you said about your fighters.
Exactly.
You have to make sure, you know, you've got to look at it from a business point of view. And this is what we don't understand because we just want to see the fights. And sometimes we get a clouded vision. So it's good that you put that point across.
This is an example with Steve, because he's been out for a while. Yes. If he had been active, then I could have maybe thought about it. But because he's not been active for like 2-3 years, it would be insensitive to me to say you should go in there and do this, even though I believe you've got the talent and ability. But yet again, you've got to be, you know, real time fighting and in the ring, real time is something totally different. So just one of them.
So with your... it makes perfect sense. So with your fighters then, have you got any strategies planned around this year on what you're hoping them to achieve this
It's
year?
the same strategy as what I had last year, you know. I just want to get him out into a 6-rounder, welcome him back into the, you know, the British scene.
Yeah.
And let them see, you know, that there's a new sheriff in town as well that's going to be mixing it up in the division. So first and foremost is get him a 6-rounder, maybe another 6-rounder, then an 8-rounder, maybe look for some titles. But I think get him 2 or 3 fights so he gets his foot wet and he's back in the business and he gets the feel of the ring again.
Yeah.
You can't rush anything. And the only thing I say to him is, but once he's active, then I can get onto that. I'd like him to do a bit more sparring, maybe come to London and not spar the same people, because it breeds contempt. You know, if you spar the same man too much, you don't know each other, you figure each other out. You know what I mean? I think going on the road is a good thing.
Yeah.
London, European, American, wherever it is you want to go, but get on the road. Don't have the same in-house sparring, because you lot start to understand each other's bad habits, good habits, and it doesn't prepare you for, you know, the real world of the dog-eat-dog world when you're in the ring against another dog that's saying, yo, this is my bone, buddy, I'm ready.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I 100% I agree with that, because one of my biggest bugbears in fight is that we're hopefully building world champions, but you can't build world champions with local experience. They've got to travel.
Yeah, exactly.
They've got to get that mindset, you know, and I say this over and over again. I've watched fighters from Mexico, Cuba, Guatemala, all over that side, and they fight like their lives depend on it. There's a different mindset with them.
Yeah, but you know what? That's the culture. They come from real poverty, real down in the dumps and dirts, and you know, like when you're talking about someone from the UK, it's a bit different. You talk about poverty, but they've got government benefits. These people still have PlayStations, night trainers, night tracksuits, you know, things to eat. Those guys sometimes they're eating for 3, 4, 5 days. They're literally fighting for their lives.
There you go.
It's even when you're talking about old school boxers in the crack era, there was a lot of them. But those guys were the same. Those guys in the trenches, real down and out, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's different times and different things, you know. The UK, when you look at the UK in a whole, obviously we have flaws, but we're still one of the best countries. We've got NHS, which is free for people to go and use.
I hear you.
I'm watching on Netflix the toughest prisons in the world. When you look at some of the toughest prisons in the world, Philippines, Thailand, was it Paraguay in South America? They're living quarters of these people. My guy, you know when man go to say, yeah, it's holiday camp, you go there, you would not talk about no holiday camp and you will give up crime forever, I mean. You know what I mean? But then there you go, I looked at a Denmark jail and it was like they were free. It was like an apartment. They had their own.
I think I watched it where they was having that therapy. The murderers having therapy. Yeah, I watched it and I'm like, wow.
Like prison. So it's just different. Not to say there ain't no tough guys here, there is, but you know, I think the better guys are the ones that travel and experience, you know, hard work. Even if it's hard and they're on the losing end, if you keep going every day, you will get better and better and you'll start to understand your flaws. And you're like, you know what? This guy showed me where my weakness is. Yeah. If you're sparring with higher world level opponents, when you come back to the UK and you're sparring with these, it will raise the bar and raise your game. So it's an interesting one, but I definitely believe, you know, like for you to really do your thing, you got to get sparring. Even if you're getting a sparring in here and you're sparring with better people here initially, that will raise your bar anyway because you're sparring with higher level opposition. But you can't sit in your gym wherever you are and just spar with those same guys and think it's gonna be enough. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I agree that experience, practice never makes perfect, but it makes permanent, and you'll always get better. You have to test yourself. You can't rest on your.
That's what I say. Repetition. We just keep training and try keep amending. Because whatever you think you've learned, say like 2 weeks before, 2 weeks later down the line, you're always gonna learn something. You're always gonna be learning. So that's why boxing is quite. That's why I say to these boys, you should shadow box wherever you are. You should train. You should understand distance control, catch, shoot, roll. Just make it so natural that you could do it with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
So that's another thing I kind of put into these boys, but I don't know. Listen, it's if they want to take it in, but yeah, again, like I said, it's difficult to tell someone this to do all this, to push it and burn out. Maybe they feel like they're going to burn out and nothing's on the horizon. Yeah. And I totally understand it. But you virtually want to stay 80% ready for that call.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One day the call's going to come and it's going to be the right call and you're going to say, I'll grab that with 2 hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you just go. So that's the situation there. But
what about, have you got a gym? Have you got a black box gym?
No, not at the minute. But there's a few gyms I work with and you know, I'm close. I just go there and I work with the boys and I work with the people that's there. Not at the minute. It's something we're looking at. I was talking about it with another pal yesterday, but you know, we got one step at a time and we'll kind of get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we'll
it's just when you build a bigger stable, and like you said, you're asking people.
Exactly. Once it all starts working out, once you know the promotion thing can get off the ground, and then you know little things and it starts going in the right way, like the stable gets bigger, then the stable goes up and it goes down. Working.
Yeah. Have you been looking? Are you actively looking for fighters?
Not really, not at the minute. Right now, I'm going to take a slow time until I plug into what I need to plug into, and the right vibration is there. It's not there at the minute. I'm not getting the right vibration, especially because of lockdown. It's very precarious the time, because if I can't get the dialogue at the minute what I need, there's no point me taking someone on and having them, and then what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not being able to offer them anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to take them on under any disillusion and hold them up and so on and so forth. And that's it really. So I'm just ticking over, waiting for everything to open up back again, and then can jump back in the saddle full throttle, and have no fear of no bandit with his fake mask and driving around chasing me and asking me where I'm going. You know what I mean? So that's it really.
Yeah, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I think that's another lesson. I've learned so much this past year because of everything that's going on. My eyes have just been fully opened, and you just can't get comfortable, because you're just sitting there and I'm going here, going there, not a second thought, and then all of a sudden you ain't going anywhere. So talk to me then. We've touched on the boxers. It's COVID at the moment. That's kind of like kept that where it is. But your fighters are staying ready. They need to stay ready. They need to stay fit, just in case that call does come through. But we move on to the other side, and you mentioned about the music. Talk to me about that involvement.
Yeah, so I don't know if you follow like rap or drill. I manage a guy named Schema, and then my son raps. His name's
Very good rapper.
Yeah. He's doing his thing. I've got him a deal recently as well. And so he's got a lot of good stuff coming this year. My boy is in it. He's in this movie thing. Schema's in the movie. But Schema's doing really well. His music's doing pretty good. He released some stuff just before Christmas. Good numbers. Virtually on every radio station in the UK pumping, which is very good. So right now we're in a great position with that. And there's a few other guys, but like the OJB and them is from like South London. That's my little neck of the woods. There's Gore and Psycho. I know all the little young ones will kind of know all of them, man. Wrecker. There's a lot of them. So they're kind of my guys that I kind of work with. And a few other guys that I'm about to sign as well. So the music thing's really just taking off, which is good. And I'm blessed to be in that position that, because a few years ago I didn't really know much, because I've been doing the boxing. I just took on the music thing. And then now it's a lot more understanding, and it's where it needs to be, you know what I mean? Yeah. So impressed and just chuffed with that. That's, I've been blessed to be put in that position, man, because it's all about blessings, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just feel like, obviously, the boxing was taking off when we was able to get about. Now the music, because that's all online music, you know what I mean? So that's why it's not too affected. The only thing is affected by is because of they're not being able to do their touring and shows, which is where they make most of their money. But other than that, it's good times, Even was work with Nadia Rose. My cousin manages her, Nadia Rose, but I'm part of the little team where we do a few things. So I just been grafting, but music's definitely right up there and the highlight of my things I do. Boxing is my passion, and obviously my boys in it, and my next family man, them man there, my ends man's in it. So what it is I do it for them, you know what I mean? That they're gonna have someone loyal that's gonna be there for them, not for money, just for them, to make sure their best interest is at heart. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because most of this world is a nasty world, you know, like, and if you don't watch your back, you'll have managers who will try and do you out of your money, or people, because people love money. I'm not new to money like that, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it's not about money. The money will come. If you've got the love and passion and you put your heart into something, the money will come.
Okay.
So I'm good with that. A lot of these men, certain of them worship money and this and that. That's not my thing. I've been doing this thing for a long time. I've had cars and patterning for years. So none of this is new, like watches or whatever. I've been doing that. So I'm good with how I move. So I don't like say to them, you know, oh, we need to get this, or I want half of your, you know, that's not the job. I get them the best deal. I will take my commission and I work from there. But it's not solely, it's about them. Make sure I get them the best deals and put them in a good position to in turn put myself in a good position. But some people don't look at that. You know what I mean? And that's just with the boxing and with the music and whatever I'm doing, because that's ultimately the goal. So
how do you pay? Well, you talk about that. You've had money. You've been there. You know, you've got more respect for the art itself, whether it's the art of boxing or the art of music. Do you then advise, you know, those that you manage to be sensible with their money? Because too many people get that money quick and it goes quick. So what advice do you give people that are under Blvck Box Management in relation to money management? Because this is really important, because we're not taught
obviously. No, 100%. No, but I would, anyone that's around me, if we're close enough, I will always kind of push them in that mindset. Once you get enough money, because look, you're going to save. You're going to have to save some of your money some way. Some people want to buy a car. I'd advise them buy a house. But if you're young enough, you want to do certain things, but it's stages. But there's no point buying a house and then you don't have the other money to maintain a house after. So you don't want to rush into that position. So that's why a lot of people, you know, if you don't get the right team around you, they can't advise you right. Me personally, I'd advise the guys to be smart, because boxing is not forever. And it's only a small fraction of the people that make it to the pinnacle of boxing that make a decent career out of it and are able to buy a home. So, you know, any of my fighters, I'd always advise them, you know, be smart, put a little thing aside. I've got links in property world anyway, so I could help them get properties when it comes to that time. But in initial, you know, you want to just enjoy the sport, tick over, make a bit of money. When you get to a position you feel like you're ready, then you tell me, and then I'll put the pieces to the puzzle together. And I'll always advise that. Even with my young bucks from I've helped them buy properties as well, coming up and doing so, because they're buying jewelry and buying watch and buying cars and saying, so where is your property? You know, like no one ain't advising on trying to put in bricks and mortar and that. What, you know what I mean? This car stuff, it don't last. The jewelry don't last. Whatever you're doing, you want to be smart and invest in your future. If it ain't your future, your kids' future, because you know, you're gonna have to leave something. You don't want to be talking, oh, daddy was shining and I got jewelry and I had good crepes and the best of this and that. Oh, but dad, what did you leave for us? Oh, just memories. There's my pictures. You get me? So
some autographs. Yeah,
so it's a bit techie, but I don't know, man. Listen, this is the game, man. But
yes. No, it's good to hear that you're paying it forward. But we're talking about moving forward then. Let's talk about Dillian Whyte's impending revenge. I'm going to say revenge with Povetkin. I'm not going to be biased.
No. I hear that.
I'm trying to sit on the fence.
No, listen, it's good. You know, Dillian's been waiting. He was ready from December, and then the story of the COVID kicked in, and then it went to the end of January, and that got cancelled. And now we're here where Povetkin wanted to be. And it's only because Dillian wanted to seek revenge that he still wants to take this fight and go on. Because if not, I'm sure he was looking at Ortiz and moving on with someone else, because he just had enough. He wanted to fight. He didn't want to waste 6 months of his life waiting for Povetkin to be ready. Look, it's been done. Contracts have been signed. Revenge is on the mind. It's on the table. And, you know, Dillian had the beating of him, but he switched off for a few seconds and he got caught with a hell of a shot. And the rest is history. It's in the history book. So he just got to come back and sort himself out. And right now, you know, he's chomping at the bits. He can't wait. I'm sure he said he was ready December. Then he's ready January. He's probably going to be more than ready come March. And let's see where they do it, because I think even that's in question, if they're going to do it in the UK or not, or what. But so listen, I'm just happy it's done. We get to seek revenge, and we've got to be smart about this, because You know, like, as you saw, he's a wise old fox, and there was still a little bit left in him. Even though in his corner we're talking about taking him out the next round, but it's, you know what I mean. I think he needs to go. You know, if you can't get him out there and stick it on him when he was injured, you want to take him a little bit later, because obviously you can see he tires more. And then, you know, knowing Dillian, I know he's going to want to knock him out, but I think he just needs to be happy with the win, because, you know, he's dangerous, and as we saw, anything can happen in the fight. So
yeah, I mean,
let's look forward to March the 6th.
I still see some of that fight in slow motion playing back through my head.
Yeah,
I always wanted, you know, I'm a boxing fan, heavyweight fan especially. Dillian was boxing extremely well. Really, really nice, slick boxing. But I said, when I saw Povetkin walk back to that corner, I said, hold on, he's planning something here. I don't know, man. It was just, I could just, like, obviously I don't know what he's saying because I can't speak Russian, but it was sort of, I just felt like, I think Xavier, when I spoke to him, he said it was like, they must have said to him, show me something or we're going to have to pull you out.
Yeah, I think that's what they said in the corner. Yeah.
Only because you follow his journey, and you follow his journey, and you see him chasing after everyone. You know that he wants that WBC. You know that he wants to be mandatory for Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder does what he does. You know, the text messages, WhatsApps, whatever it was, freezing him out. He then takes off who he believes to be a washed Fury, which, to his surprise, he was far from it. And then look here, this is Dillian's chance now. WBC, just there. And then that happens. I was.
Yeah, that's Sod's law, you know. Listen, that was a Sod's will. At the end of the day, things happen for a reason. It was a setback. Now it's an opportunity for him to rectify that. But I know what you mean. He was right at the pinnacle. He was right at the door, banging on the door, and they wouldn't let him in. And then he kept taking chance after chance after chance. God will. He will come again. Listen, as long as he's learned from that mistake, obviously I've spoken to him, the team spoke to him. They just need to, you know, rectify that position. You know, because obviously I think that uppercut, he's been caught with that a few times, because he kind of a little bit leans in with his front foot. I know he wants to throw his shots and he wants to roll and do stuff, but he's gonna have to understand that is one of his signature shots, Povetkin, and the bowler one over the top. But Dillian was catching them. Yeah, Dillian was catching them all night, them shots, which was good. But at the same time, he was still dipping. So they were like, well, they were saying, look, he's too far over his front foot and he's leaning forward. Just keep throwing the shot, it's gonna come. And they were right. So it's just one of them. But look, March the 6th, chance for redemption, revenge.
Yeah.
And he's got to go for it. He's literally just got to hopefully put that to the back of his mind when he's in the ring. And we ain't gonna know until he's in there. But he's a very solid guy, his character. And he's accepted it. And that's the main thing. He's accepted it. Only we'll know until once he gets in the ring and he boxes again, and then you see how he performs.
The pressure's on whether he likes it or not. You know, we have to give credit to Povetkin as well.
Hey, do you know, March ain't that far, you know.
No, it's not. It's not though, is it? It's like, it's really theoretically. What is it, about 6 weeks?
Yeah.
It's not far away. Don't let me start getting nervous again. I usually wait till like a week before the fight before I get really nervous. But we've got to give Povetkin his respect, man. Because
absolutely. I just did the interview. I was saying, look,
I don't think I gave him enough respect when Joshua fought him, because Joshua made it look easier to beat him.
No, but you know what? In that fight, it wasn't easy. Joshua was he was getting punched up, you know. He's having a hard time. He was getting a little bit roughed up, but then obviously he managed to pull it out of the bag and dispatch him. So then you go on to think like, oh, he might be washed up. You know what I mean? But really, we should have known, because I think English fans, we have a tendency to do that. Oh, he's an old man. That man's kind of washed. You get me? And then when he was starting to get onto Joshua, man's like, right, how's my man onto Joshua like that? But then obviously Joshua's got the big power, caught him, and then proper just went for the kill and got him out of there. And that's the mistake Dillian did in that fight. When he got him hurt, obviously they went to the corner. I feel he should have stepped it up and tried to get him out of there. But that's what he normally would do. But the advice he was giving was a different bit of advice. and then it ended up how it ended up. But credit to, come on, you got to give, listen, he's like 41 performing at this elite level with these guys. Come on, man, that's madness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even the hungry guy who I kind of rate highly as well. What's the guy's name he fought in Saudi? My brain's.
Oh, Marius Wack.
No, not Marius. What? No, who Povetkin fought? What's the guy? Hunter.
Oh yeah, Michael Hunter. Yeah.
But he's bad, Michael Hunter.
Yeah.
And look, he gave him a run for his money.
Yeah.
Some would say he won. Some would say. So you know how good he is. He's a young, hungry lion coming up, and that was a war for both of them. He nearly beat him, and he nearly beat him. And so you know it could have gone anywhere. And then he done the hard fight with Joshua, and then he got Dill. So you know he weren't no one to be messing around with.
He's no joke. Speaking of Hunter, I'd like to see him fight Oscar Rivas, you know.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting fight. They're probably around the same. I think, I don't know, maybe, I think, because he's quite solid. He took some rotted lick against Povetkin as well, you know.
Yeah.
But he had good movement. Yeah. And that's the only difference. Because he's smaller heavyweight and he's a little bit faster, that's the only reason he never got fixed, I think.
It's like the Usyk thing, isn't it? Because they both were cruiserweights, obviously stepping up to heavyweight.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, I'd like to see that fight. And speaking about Usyk, what do you think about him and Joe Joyce?
That'd be an interesting fight. We'll see. I'm hearing they might make that for the vacant WBO or the interim.
Yes, interim
WBO.
I've seen.
That's what I'm hearing. So we'll see what the WBO does. But I did hear, actually, because in the last interview, I did hear that the WBO, in principle, agreed that they'd let them the step aside go on, so the unification can happen. So it might be an interim, and then the winner out of that fights for the, you know what I mean? So we'll see. Yeah. It's definitely an interesting fight. I hope, obviously, I'm not sure, obviously, if you look at talent, obviously people were looking at Usyk, but as an Englishman, I know Joe Joyce, and he's from my ends as well. So I hope he can put in some work and use his big old stiff jab and thump out Usyk's chin. But it is a hard fight. It's a hard ass. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, when he fought Daniel Dubois, I was edging more towards Daniel Dubois for the win. And I was pleasantly surprised when I saw what Joe Joyce did. Obviously, injuries aside, because that wasn't, obviously he had quite a bad injury. But then I think, have I underestimated Joe Joyce? Like us boxing fans, I don't know what it is, but we're quite fickle. And if we don't really study the fighters, we don't really give them much of a chance. And Joe Joyce did box really well. I mean, even his head movements, because I've watched his fights. Yeah, and he doesn't really moved properly in that ring. And that's when I thought, you know what? If he fights Usyk is extremely slick. We've seen how he was moving around when he fought Chisora. But Joe Joyce's power.
Do you know what? You got to look at this, and I said this many times. They don't give out silver, a medal Olympians, or virtually gold Olympians. They don't give out Commonwealth Games golds, European golds. He's the most decorated amateur boxer in the history of UK boxing. So to reach those heights, he's fought world-class amateurs all across the world and the globe.
Yes, he has.
And his resume, when you look at his resume, he's actually got probably one of the best resumes for someone who's only had 12 fights. He's fought a lot of who's who already. So his experience is always going to play a factor. But this goes back to what we were saying earlier about either managers or promoters believing in you and giving you the right fights at the right time. And that's what Daniel Dubois, that was such a mega step up for Daniel Dubois.
Yeah, now I'm seeing,
But obviously, he had the opportunity, because obviously we knew he's got the power and he can, if he catches you, he will knock you out. But Joe Joyce was jabbing, stepping off and stepping to the right and just kept it moving all night. And that jab was just busting my man up, boy.
Proper on target.
Busting it.
Yeah.
And let's see, he will come again, man. He's got his opportunity to come again.
Daniel's only young. He's only young.
So, I mean, it's right time. Obviously, Joe Joyce is 32, 33. His experience showed he boxed really well, got the win. And now you just got to look at, hopefully Daniel Dubois will learn and come back from this. But you can see that the occasion got to him. He looked too tense. Even when he was throwing punch, he was really stiff and tense. He tensed up. He knew it was a big occasion, and he didn't rise to that occasion. And that's a really worrying factor. Does he do that again in future fights? You know what I mean? But that's down to his team, his manager, his coaches, them talking to him and making him understand, you know, look, you got to understand, you were on the crushing end of a lot of fights where you've knocked out people and done that. Now you're on the receiving end. You've got to be receptive to this. You understand you're not invincible. So they needed to be able to talk and break it down to him and say, listen, this is a hurt business. Sometimes you're going to win, sometimes you're going to lose. But it's how you come back. I don't know who's going to sit down, if he's got any good people behind him that's going to do that. But we'll have to wait and see how.
In boxing, though, because that's another good point that you brought up. Do you find that in boxing? Because we talk about how people deal with losses. Look at how Deontay Wilder has dealt with his loss against Fury. That is one example. I could think of a few others, but I'll use that as the main example. As a trainer, as a team, as a coach, as a manager, dealing with your fighter when they've had a loss, when they don't seem to have that honest relationship, when they're gassing up your fighter, saying you're the best thing ever, you know, no one can't beat you, all of that, fine. But then if they do have a loss, and I don't like to call them losses, I like to call them lessons, because you can come back, the fighters can't deal with it.
Yeah, well, the problem is if you got bare yes man in your corner, that's what's going to happen. And being honest, a lot of fighters do have that because they got ego issues. They got probably confidence. They've got confidence complexes, so they do have a lot of yes man to kind of suck these nuts. No, I'm joking. I mean, so you know what I mean. They got a lot of them guys. I'm not interested in
participate in those type of activities.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was meant to say something else. Sorry about it. Excuse me. But, you know, like Dillian is mad. He says, "Lean to these nuts." He's mad. He's so mad. Like, he's funny as hell, dude. Right. But I mean, what I mean is, you get a lot of yes man who will just tell you what you want. I'm straight up with doing. I just tell him if he doesn't like it, go f yourself. It's not my problem. I don't need to deal with your hang-ups. I'm a man. I'm good. If I don't like something, I might be sad and moan about it. I'll brush it off and say, look, that's what it is. And boom, we just kind of cut you. And we have that. You know what I mean? So he knows that. But some guys, I know probably Joshua's team, Deontay Wilder's team, there's a lot of people with their guys. They back their guys. There's nothing wrong with that. There needs to be a backbone. There needs to be a rod. So when you go to that one person, he's going to tell you straight, listen, you're an idiot, fam. Stop chatting shit. Get back to business. Get back in the gym and show them then. If you feel like you are the champ, grow some pair of balls. Forget all the chatting. Forget about that. Let your solicitors deal with that. You get in the ring, work, and come back so you can show them who. And that's what you need someone to tell you that. A lot of these guys are there, you know, oh, that was an accident. It was a lucky shot. It was, you know, like, and they're bigging up their man. It's not about lucky shots. Sometimes you can use the word lucky, but then you still break it down in terms of it was still a hell of a shot. And you have to have that skill to land that shot. So we're not disrespecting that person, but we're equally crediting him and saying, you know what, but if you didn't make that mistake, this would happen. So you got to have the spectrum on it. But I know Wilder's got a lot of guys in his team. I don't know if they're all like yes man potentially, but I know every camp's got the little banjo man with the drums and the flute.
Banjo.
You know, like the little following the little man. And he's like, hey, back up, you're too close. 6 meters. But I don't know. Listen, man, it's kind of difficult. But listen, this is when you get up that way. I think it gets like that because sometimes they don't. I think maybe sometimes fighters get confused and saying, "Well, who's with me for whatever this or that, or they with me for fame, or you know what I mean?" So some guys, because they don't want to get thrown out of the team, they prefer to just be a little yes man and not say their honest opinion, so they can keep in the background and they're just around. So, you know what I mean? It's just one of them. So I don't know what it really boils down to, but this is what it is. And I mean, those guys are integral in this boxing, especially with boxers and dealing with their mood swings and how they, you know what I mean, how they get on. So it is integral, but at the same time, honesty plays a big part because you can't let your people go and put themselves in harm's way because going into the ring is dangerous. And if you're lying and kidding them out of position, you know what I mean, or not giving them the right information, then you're doing them a disservice anyway. So it's just one of them.
No, it's a fair point. But somebody else that I think sort of creeping their way back into the heavyweight division. And to be, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't mind seeing them in there. Jarrell Miller, what do you think about that?
I don't know. Listen, everyone deserves another chance, they say. I ain't the jury. Maybe God will decide where his fate lies. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's real Mr. Juice, fantastic, bombastic. He took me anywhere with a needle, I'll have it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know, bro. He's mad. He was definitely a good addition to. Yeah, he was good character, good addition. But he can't stay off the gear, man. So I don't know where his position's gonna lie. So let's see what happens in the future. You know what I mean? But you're right. He was interesting. I'd like to see him fight Deontay Wilder, like he was calling out, and come back in the mix and see if there's money. Let Dillian get past Povetkin and see what happens. That fight could be down the line, or him against Andy Ruiz. You know, like there is space for him. But let's see if he learns his lessons, man. We got to see. You know what I mean? But in time will tell, man. We got to see. But you're right. He's definitely an interesting character, and we got to see if he gets back in the mix. I need to grease my legs. My legs is dry.
Well, fortunately for you, you can't see mine. They ain't any better. So yeah, I don't know. He brings a lot of character to the sport. He'll bring that drama. But you said about your brother fighting Deontay Wilder. I'd like to see that fight, and I probably would like to see the press conference more than the actual match, because I just reckon that would be an interesting presser with the both of them.
Yeah, no, the press conference will be amazing. But obviously, I think that is a fight. Once Still gets past Povetkin, not looking past Povetkin, we respectfully, I say gets past him. That is a fight that is potentially on the cards anyway. Because look, you're gonna have AJ and Fury gonna be tied up, so you know the deal's gonna have to take the likes of Deontay Wilder, maybe Ortiz in the interim and stuff like that, and see where he comes out. You know what I mean? And where the position is. So. Well, let's see what happens. It's just all timing, but we've got to take one step at a time and not run before we can walk, because there's a very, very big man mountain, Russian Mike Tyson, waiting in the wings somewhere, sitting saying, I will be back. I come to destroy. I destroy once, I get again. You know, and he's saying, yes, I am back from COVID. I am better.
Well, we'll see. Well, fingers crossed that definitely goes through on March the 6th. As you know, I could talk to you forever. That's the banter. We've been going for like nearly an hour and a half on here right now.
Yeah. An hour and a half? What? I've got to get out of it. What you done to me?
I know. You and your 5,000 meetings that you've got to get to. I get it. We've got to do this again. We've definitely got to do
No, we'll catch up. We'll definitely pick a time. Definitely getting a bit earlier as well, because I think so. If we're gonna be here for that long, I need to, so I can get out. But it's been nice. It's been nice to get on
conversation. They say time flies when you're having fun.
Exactly.
Closer to Dillian's fight, if I'm honest.
No, we'll definitely do so.
Yeah,
we'll definitely do so.
Definitely. Yeah? Thank you very much for coming on October Red.
Thanks for having me, man. Yeah.
Until the next time. October Red on YouTube. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. And don't forget, at October Red, we stay ready.